I think we have liftoff.
Yes, sir.
Good. Well, thank you, Sherry. Thank you so much, and for everybody all aboard, thank you for arranging this, and for everybody joining us this morning. Thank you so much for taking your time. It's what we can do in these days. We understand that personal contact is not available at the current time, but we still want to continue and to endeavor to keep thinking about travel, dream forward, look into the future. And so it was a wonderful opportunity for this morning to join you all and basically look into the future with Viking, and very exciting times during these. And we all need good news at these times, I'm sure. And I've been with the company almost going on 10 years now, going into my 10th year. And I would say probably for 7 of those years, I've been promising folks that Viking is coming to the Mississippi. I promised every single year. We've endeavored, and we've come up against challenges, and there's restrictions and such like that I won't bore you with today. But finally, great news for us all that we are now actually able to sit here and discuss Viking is coming to North America, and Viking will be cruising on the Mississippi. So that's super exciting news. There would have been a wonderful launch party down in New Orleans back in beginning of April. Obviously, that went by the wayside, but that didn't deter us. That didn't stop us from launching. And launch we have done with great success. Some of you on the presentation today may have already signed up and be joining us. If not, for those who are intending on joining us, I hope what I have to share with you today will help you see forward and make that commitment to 2022. So without further ado, let's go on into introducing Viking on the Mississippi. And really, what an amazing river. It's quite strange for myself, having been in ocean cruising for 9 years prior to joining Viking river cruises. So everything I kind of learned about ocean cruising was kind of put aside, and then I had to start learning everything about river cruising in Europe and East Europe and Southeast Asia. So this is a whole new learning spectrum for me. Then we entered into the ocean cruising again, and so that made me realign myself with ocean itineraries. And then here we are in the good old USA. And I'll be very honest, I've been forthright with everybody. When I started looking at flowing the Mississippi in the regions, I've got some learning to do in this region too. So wonderful learning experience for myself, as Viking will be traversing thousands of miles down this magnificent river, taking in 10 states as we do so. And again, just as we always do, just taking in the culture and everything about the different regions and areas to which we will be sailing as we sail up and down the Mississippi. Viking, different. Yes, we are, absolutely. And I think really just the screen you see at the moment is a result of our growth, our expansion. Sometime last year, we did change our company name to simply Viking. As many of you on the call are very familiar with the fact that we made our name in international river cruising. And those days we were just simply called Viking River Cruises. And then in 2015, we launched Viking Ocean Cruises. And then October of last year, Viking went ahead and announced its entry into expedition cruises starting in 2022. And now, as I've shared with you now today, the very exciting news that we've expanded even further to domestic river cruising in the United States here on the Mississippi. So it only made sense and right that we then rename our company simply Viking. And that Viking name, really what it does, it sets the standard and it sets the expectation. And it sends a brand message that regardless of whatever those experiences I've just named, you'll be enjoying yourselves. It's going to have the same feel. It's going to have the same passengers. It's going to be for the same reason. And it's all going to be culturally aligned. And it's all going to be destination focused, culturally enriching, and carefully curated. So super excited about just the name itself. And so that's a transition that we're going into ourselves as well. And on the difference that we're going to bring to Mississippi, it's obviously a river that's been cruised on for many years now. And again, as I alluded to earlier, it's been an endeavor of ourselves to get onto this magnificent river. Some challenges in what we call rules and restrictions and such like that, which we've overcome. And so we are here to kind of modernize the Mississippi experience, shake things up a little bit, not only just bringing these brand new high-tech state-of-the-art ships to sail on the river, but also the activities that we're going to be enjoying along the way. Echoing what we've done on the rivers of Europe, bringing that over to the rivers of the United States. Not just using existing docks, for instance, but actually investing and building our very own docks, private, exclusive docking areas along the river as well. It will be a continuation of that thinking person's cruise, as we've always adhered to, again, with great history, culture, the food and the wine elements, the very reason that folks sail with us. We always describe ourselves as Viking, the thinking person's cruise. And really, our goal is for you to come along with Viking, immerse yourself culturally, educate yourself, broaden your horizons, and bring those stories back home and share them with your friends, and take them along with you for your next experience. Again, modernizing the way that we will be exploring, and then the ship design that we've enjoyed on the rivers and the oceans. Now we're going to bring that very same feel over to our Mississippi-built vessel as well. One of the important elements, and one that enjoyable by most, is the food and the culinary aspect. So this too, we're going to be delving in deeply as we traverse the river, and we go through different states, and not just different states, but different regions of that states, and getting to enjoy the wonderful culinary experiences that these magnificent places have to go along as we go about our way. We always say, destination, as we said, is a destination focused. Discovery, ships built this discovery. This is all the taglines that we've always adhered to over the 22 years that we've been in business and providing the experience to our clients. Very much like it is on the river cruises in Europe. Time spent on the ship will be limited, but maximizing the length of time that we spend in port, and again, immersing ourselves culturally as far as we possibly can. And the kind of program that we developed probably about 3 or 4 years ago now, when we saw that not everybody is aligned the same. While our interests may be general in the same, many of us have specialty interests. Some of us have a love and a passion for music. Some of us have a love and a passion for history, or for culture and food and wine aspects. So what Viking brings to you, while we do include the complimentary shore excursion in every port that we visit, we will also have a wonderful program of optional tours aligned to those folks who want to participate and divulge into something of interest to them. And we've broken those 3 categories down as we have throughout our experiences now, into the local life, into the working world, and into the privileged access as well. And here are just a couple of examples of programs that we have curated and will be making available. And again, just continuing that Viking brand, not just going to a house or to a church or to a museum and saying, okay, that's it, we're done, let's get back to the ship, but allowing ourselves, because we really have, and this is going back to that thinking person's cruise, we really have become more curious. We want to, again, add to our education. We want our answers, our questions answered. We want to see how, why, what for. So having our hands-on experiences are very important to us. Rubbing shoulders with locals as they go about their daily business. And there's always those little lovely bragging rights, the ones that you can come back and say, you won't believe what I got to do with Viking, because only if you sail with Viking could you participate and enjoy such activities. And again, a couple of them are listed here on the slide that we're looking at currently. Local life, this is always what I like to say, this is where we rub the shoulders with the locals. Discovering the machinery that farmed in America, the John Deere Pavilion, and the John Deere Tractor Museum that we'll be visiting. On the working world, actually going onto a farm, onto a family-run farm, dairy farm, and getting to see the ins and the outs of the management of the operations of this farm. Also visiting maybe one of the breweries, America's oldest breweries. We go to the Budweiser brewery along the way as well. So great examples there of the working world. And for those bragging, privileged access experiences that Viking passengers only get to experience, we get to go to the living, working museum there, the Norwegian Immigrant Experience at Westheim, and which is a national Norwegian American museum, and getting to see what life was like for the Norwegians as they settled into the United States, obviously with Viking and its Norwegian roots as we are. We see a great connection there between who we are as a brand and the culture of our roots, of our ownership, and where we have come from as a company as well. So again, wonderful array of different experiences for you to enjoy when you sail with us. And after naming all these different experiences that you can have with Viking, again, the rivers, the oceans, the expeditions, the beautiful thing, and this is coming back to streamlining who we are as a company, as a brand, just simply Viking, that you don't have to start asking your questions of, was it on the Viking rivers that we get the complimentary beer, wine, sodas with the meals? Is it only on the oceans where we get a complimentary shore excursion every port? The answer is no. By means of the streamline, the brand message, whatever you've experienced on the rivers, on the oceans, to Mississippi, to expedition, you're going to enjoy the same inclusions throughout, regardless of the body of water upon which you are sailing. So we will continue, as I alluded to earlier, offering a complimentary shore excursion in every single one of the ports of call that we have along the way. Obviously, all meals on board will be included. The inclusion of beer, wine, and sodas with all your meals will there be there too. The availability for 24-hour specialty coffees and teas, all included in the pricing. Complimentary Wi-Fi. And something that sets us apart a little bit from the other cruise lines currently operating on the Mississippi. Viking will continue with the inclusion of taxes and port charges, etc., all built in to the cruise fare. So there's no need for you to take out that magnifying glass and look at the bottom of the page to see how many more hundreds of dollars you still have to add on to that cruise fare. We make it simple. The price you see is the price you pay. So making it simplistic. So all those, inclusions that we've become so accustomed to just continue to flow into the new experience. And the itineraries themselves, the destination. So as we said, that the Mississippi will be traversing all the way from the northern regions all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico into New Orleans. We have divided our cruise opportunities into 4 separate itineraries. I just wanted to lay those out on a cruise map here, 2 of which you will see are southern Mississippi located, one of which will encounter and include the entire length of the river. And then we will have a shorter version up in the northern reaches of the Mississippi on America's heartland. And we'll just put a little more detail to those here. The Mississippi, as it is the case for most rivers, obviously manages itself seasonally. So during the high water seasons, when the snow melts occur and such, it's not possible for us to be cruising on the northern reaches of the Mississippi. So during the winter months and the springs, etc., we will then be locating the experiences in the southern reaches. And then as the summer months come and the water levels drop and it permits us then to sail under the bridges and such, that's when we will then move northwards to enjoy the entire northern reaches of the Mississippi. So looking at those 8-day itineraries, getting off with the Heart of Delta. The Heart of the Delta is a New Orleans to Memphis, Memphis, New Orleans. This is an 8-day itinerary. As you'll see, we have several 8 days here. We'll enjoy along the way 5 ports of call that will be overnights as well. That's the reason for the 5 ports. And these cruises will be setting sail during the spring and late winter, spring, and then again into fall, into early winter as well. January to mid-June, mid-October to November. The alternate 8-day in the New Orleans and the southern reaches then will be the Southern Celebration. And Southern Celebration adhering to the fact that we will be sailing this cruises during the December and January months. So during the summer, during the winter months, we'll be sailing round trip in New Orleans, again for 8 days with 6 ports of call, and again, including a shore excursion in every single one of those ports that we're visiting. Then, as the weather, as I say, becomes warmer, we start heading into the summer months when the upper reaches of the Mississippi will adhere to cruising at that time. We will be enjoying the 8-day America's Heartland. This will be a St. Louis to St. Paul or St. Paul to St. Louis reverse, again with 8 days. And these cruises are going to be taking place during the summer months, beginning in mid-July, going through mid-October. Then the granddaddy of them all, the 15-day America's Great River. It seems that 15 days is quite a magical number for Viking and for our clients. Again, taking into consideration our clients, the demographic, your ability to travel longer periods of time, it allows us then to really, ensconce what river cruising has to offer, not just river, but ocean. If we step back a little bit and we look towards our European cruising, Viking river cruising in Europe, many of in the call may today have experienced the Grand European, which is our flagship itinerary sailing in Europe. This is a 15-day itinerary sailing from Amsterdam to Budapest or Budapest to Amsterdam. Our most popular itinerary. When we look at our ocean experiences, the Viking homelands, sailing the Baltics, 15 days, Stockholm to Bergen or Bergen to Stockholm. Again, our flagship itinerary, the most popular that we have, its ideal length of 15 days. Or then we go into the Mediterranean. And here in the Mediterranean, again, we're going to be enjoying the Viking Odyssey, the Mediterranean Odyssey. This, again, a 15-day itinerary. So we see great popularity. When we say popularity and we discuss America's Great River, this entire program was launched earlier in April, so it's not even a month to boot, so to date so far. As this was kind of a repositioning cruise, as I alluded to earlier, we are restricted to sailing to particular months when we come to the northern reaches. We came up with an initial inaugural date, which sold out immediately. We then had to we were then able to, adjusting our cruise calendar, able to add 2 additional dates to that, and by all means they too have been extremely popular as well. So it's unfortunate that we just can't run a series of these 15 days because we have to be seasonal, but great popularity. But again, looking at the 8-day itinerary, still great availability throughout those as well. And I just wanted to give you a snapshot of the cruise maps and just give you an idea of the the states and then the major ports of call that we will be enjoying. Just as we look at that cruise map, on the top right-hand corner there, when you see New Orleans and when you see Memphis, something that is very typical with Viking, when you see a white circle on any of our cruise calendars, that indicates that this will be a overnight stop on the vessel. So arriving into New Orleans or into Memphis and allowing ourselves to enjoy the embarkation or debarkation port without any additional hotel costs to be incurred, and still taking the culture of those ports before sailing the stretches of the river. So the Heart of Delta, the Southern celebrations I alluded to, this is the cruise we're going to be enjoying during the December and January periods, taking us from New Orleans up to Vicksburg, or again in the opposite direction. And then in those summer months, up in the northern reaches from Minnesota down to St. Louis, you'll see the indicators there again of overnight embarkation or debarkation on either end, sailing through the states of Missouri, Iowa, Wisconsin, and Minnesota. And again, just taking all the different cultures, all the different culinary aspects, the art, the history. Each and every area, region brings something new, and that's the beauty of river cruising. And as I alluded to, the granddaddy, the America's Great River, is a magnificent. You might as well, for argument's sake, call it a 2-week itinerary, which then would take us through the entire reaches. And the ship that we will be enjoying these cruises upon, and these again, keeping in mind that we've kept the same architecture features, the same designer team that we've had throughout our times, and bringing that new model over to Mississippi cruising. And I present to you the Viking Mississippi. As I alluded to, we've been working on this for quite a few years now, and design features have changed and we tweaked a little bit. We were never going to go with a traditional paddle wheeler. That was never intention. As I started off by saying that we were coming to modernize Mississippi cruising and bringing the elements of our Viking European longships on the rivers there, as well as our Viking ocean vessels. People have always asked me, well, you know, when you come to Mississippi, what are your ships going to look like? And I've always kind of told a little story of saying, imagine a love story when the Viking river longships meet the Viking ocean ships. They fall in love, they get married, and they have a baby. And the baby comes out as a Viking Mississippi, because she is really a mix of both of those designs. If you look closely at the image in front of us here, and you look at the hull of the ship, and then you just take that first deck where you see the bright open windows. I guess we're looking there at the restaurants and then the public areas. If you just look at that first deck in below, what you're going to see there is a feel of the Viking longship. And you can definitely see the design. You can get a feel for that. Then if you look from the decks up, second, third, and up, as we look at the accommodation decks, and you just kind of look at those alone, you see immediately, wow, that looks just like the Viking ocean ships. And it is indeed. So again, bringing both the feel of the river and the ocean together. And when we look at the actual physical properties of the vessel, just to give you an idea of size and structure, 450 feet in length. It is just slightly longer than our river ships in Europe. They're 435, so just a little bit longer. They are double the width of the Viking longship. And when we look at the and then obviously when we look at the size of the vessel there too, we then start to see that the guest count on board the vessel is just double that of the Viking longships, and about a third of the size of the Viking ocean vessels. So again, wonderful size and wonderfully spacious, just as we did on the Viking Oceans, where we could have had more clients on board. We opted to take the areas and dedicate them to more public areas, to have this wonderful open feel, to provide you space and just, you know, little nooks and little corners where you can find solace and just find that little area to read your books and just relax and not be bothered by the members of the staff, or excuse me, by members of the staff, by other crew passengers on board. Just finding that wonderful quiet space on board. So it gives you an idea of the size of the vessel. We will continue, as I said, to keep the same architecture and same design. We've kept the same elements, and we've always defined ourselves through our ocean ships and river ships and throughout a Scandinavian contemporary. And we've brought that same feel over to the Mississippi vessels, using the same materials, the light woods, the metals, the glass. Glass is such an important feature of our design of our vessels. Glass used throughout the ships, allowing natural light to filter in wherever you will be on the ship. Again, just providing this wonderful feel that you're on a larger vessel than you are, the openness, the high ceilings, very welcoming, and nothing making you feel that you're entrapped at any sort. It's just clean, open, and light throughout the entire ship. Little feature here, and some of you may have already joined us on the Viking ocean vessels, and if you have done so, one of the features on the main stairwell forward on the ocean ships is for the 8 decks of accommodation we took the famed bayou tapestry, which in real life it stretches for miles almost, and we've taken that bayou tapestry and we've taken a copy of it, and we broke it out into sections and placed it on the stairwell deck by deck. So that allows our passengers on board to start at the very top and then follow the history of the bayou tapestry as it evokes the Norman soldiers leaving France, and then to the final stages of the Battle of Hastings in 1066. Again, that touch of culture, that touch of history. we've brought the same concept to the Viking Mississippi. And as you will see behind here on the stairwell, you see the written words behind, which obviously from this level you can't make out. But what we have done, we've paid homage obviously to the famed writer of the Mississippi Delta, obviously Mark Twain, and his works of Huckleberry Finn, Tom Sawyer, and we've actually dedicated this imagery here to a chapter of the book. So you are actually able to read the single chapter if you start from the very top and make your way down. So again, that touch of culture, that touch of, paying homage to the regions through which we are sailing. The restaurant, simply named the restaurant, which makes it all very simple. We've taken the same design feature and feel as we've enjoyed on the Viking Oceans, taking the restaurant, dividing it into the port and to the starboard side with the preparation galley separating the two sides. The restaurant will be there open for all meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The breakfast and lunch features will be aligned very much to what our river cruise experience is like in Europe, i.e. the food preparation area, the buffet station, and then also the ability to order our menu as well, table side as well. So it's a combination of both those dining experiences. And that will be the similar for breakfast and for lunch. And then going into dinner then would be a full service dinner. There will be no food preparation area or menu, or excuse me, a buffet area. It will be a waiter service and full service open dining experience for dinner. One of the wonderful attributes, and again, this is a dedication of public spaces, is the living room. This is going to be the hub of all activities during the daytime, or one of those places where you can just find that quiet place to read your book, to listen to music, to speak to fellow guests. The living room bar will be open all day long, serving specialty coffees and light bites, and become a bar area in the evening. Just to the right to there will be entertainment area as well. Again, very much in line as what we have in the atrium on board our Oceans, where we enjoy some entertainment in the atrium area with the seating around that area. So this is going to be a very active area on board the ship as well. And again, just keeping true to the Viking feel and the Viking essence with the living room, just subdividing a large public space into the smaller units, again, just making it feel like you're at home. And that's the entire intention of the design. Making our way to the upper reaches of the vessel, to the top deck, will be the River Cafe. Again, this is very similar in design and feature and feel to the World Cafe on board our ocean vessels. This will be the more informal dining area with the River Cafe bar, the food preparation areas. And this is would not be serviced by waitstaff itself, but there will be for drinks, but not on the food side of things. And again, combining this wonderful feel of being able to dine interior, or as the River Cafe starts to flow to the aft of the ship, how it opens up to provide then al fresco dining. So now we're looking at the opposite direction now towards the bow of the ship, the end of the River Cafe bar there, and you can see now that seating both on the port and the starboard side starts to open up into the opportunity to dine al fresco. And here on the Aquavit Terrace, a name that we're all familiar with if you've sailed with us before, whether we're on river or whether on ocean. On our European longships, the Aquavit Terrace is located forward. It is the alternate dining venue, again with that same feel for inside and al fresco dining. And here we're located aft on the vessel. You'll see a wonderful food preparation area here. One of the main features of this area will be, as we traverse the entire Mississippi, as I touched on earlier, how food and culture changes. One of the main, obviously, enjoyable food sources along the way is the good old barbecue. So we will be dedicating barbecue preparation and such to the regions through which we are sailing on the Mississippi as well. So a wonderful venue for alternate dining, for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and particularly when the weather allows it. What a beautiful scene and setting to be enjoying your dining. And this feel just continues through as well. And then as we make our way all the way after the ship, we find ourselves at the Sun Terrace. And just as we introduced onto our Viking ocean ships, we had the infinity plunge pool. This is an element that has also been included into the design of the Viking Mississippi. So on those beautiful summer days, and we're enjoying some scenic sailing, what a beautiful, wonderful spot to find a sun chair and sun deck, or just dip your toes in the plunge pool and enjoy the scenes and sights as we sail on by. Another feature of the ocean ships that we've brought to the Mississippi is the wonderful viewing location of the Explorer Lounge. Absolutely splendid. You are just surrounded. Again, this is where the glass comes into play. Just, 270-degree viewing area. Every thought has gone into the fact that even the stairwell itself has glass stairs and glass paneling, so no views are obstructed. We do have the semicircular bar area here, serving cocktails and drinks and coffees and teas. Also a wonderful location for light entertainment in the evening. You can see the baby grand piano located to the after this image. And again, if weather was inclement or just maybe too hot or sticky to be outside, what a wonderful viewing place to come in and enjoy that, or just have a drink and catch up with friends on how your day has been and what your plans are for the remainder of the cruise. And also, just as it is on the Viking Oceans, the Explorer Lounge is a 2-deck location. So the lower deck we're looking at here, and then the upper deck, again, with wonderful sufficient seating. I've always found on the ocean vessels that the upper deck on the Explorer Lounge has always been that place where not too many people find their way to. So it's always been a little secret place where we have the library and the book collection. And again, just one of those places, particularly during the day, if you're just looking for a little quiet place to read a book, the Explorer's Lounge is an ideal location for that. And that brings us into the forward area. So now what we're looking at now is the Explorer Lounge to the right-hand side, but now we're on the very front of the ship, we're on the bow. And again, we've just as we did on our river vessels, we've dedicated the bow to a place of viewing, relaxing, and there is no maritime materials here. There's no buoys and chains or any obstruction. The glass paneling you would be able to see around the bow allows us to come into this area, shielded as much as possible from the wind with the panels, non-obstructed views. And again, when weather permits, what a beautiful area just to come out here, have you take a coffee or tea from the bar or cocktail, come out and sit with your fellow guests and just enjoy the surroundings, and just a wonderful relaxation viewing place. Now the accommodations, again, we've continued with, what we've always provided, an array, a wide choice of accommodations for you to choose from. And the wonderful thing about that is we believe that Viking offers an opportunity for you to enjoy a Viking experience based on your want for square footage, based on your budgets. We truly, honestly believe that we have something for everyone in all our experiences, regardless of where we will be sailing. And that is true then for the Mississippi as well. One thing that does set us a little apart from the other cruise lines that are currently sailing on the Mississippi, that Viking will have no inside cabins at all. So all our cabins, all our staterooms will have at the very least a French balcony, an outdoor view. Due to the unique feature and design of the Mississippi ship, we have introduced a new category of accommodation. But other than that, the category of accommodations you will see, you're either very familiar with on the river side or on the ocean side as well. And starting in the leading category with the French balcony stateroom, wonderful spacious stateroom. These would be the only categories though that would not have a sit-out balcony, so very similar to those that we have on the ocean, on the river ships in Europe, except they're approximately double the size. We have brought the same bedding configuration that we have on our ocean vessels, that being king-size beds. These bedding configuration can be split into twins, as you will see that the image of the bedding, ample storage on table side, bedside tabling, charging points, sufficient reading lamps, the ability to manage the light systems from bedside, ample space, an absolute array of storage areas, drawers, sufficient drawer space, wardrobe space. So wonderful staterooms to enjoy. And again, this allows you to book into your Viking Mississippi experience while not maybe having a sit-out balcony, but still being able to slide the French door open to enjoy the al fresco experience. And then, as we have always had on our ocean vessels as well, then the veranda and the deluxe verandas. Now we're looking at staterooms that do provide a sit-out veranda. So a wonderful place to enjoy a morning coffee or an evening drink as such, or if we're doing scenic sailing, yourself and your travel partner to sit outside in comfort and take in the scenes and the sights that we are sailing by as well. And then we just continue to go up into higher categories, providing more spacious staterooms, providing larger balconies as you would here on the penthouse veranda, for instance. Now we look at 324 square feet. I just absolutely love this image of the penthouse junior suite. I think this really does depict and emphasize that what the Scandinavian contemporary design looks like and feels like. Again, a use of those light materials, light woods, metals, straight lines, light colors, natural light filtering in, the ability to section off your stateroom or your suite in this case with the junior suite separator, which then could give you a separate bedroom, separate living area as well. And then just as we always have, oh, excuse me, sorry, I'm skipping ahead of myself. I alluded to earlier because of the unique design of the Viking Mississippi vessels, as the bow and the hull starts to taper in as we go forward on the vessel. This allowed us to dedicate that little section of the ship to these brand new, wonderful terrace suites, 425 square feet. They have a wonderful elongated veranda balcony with space for sun lounges, as you would see there. And then the separation between the bedroom and the lounge with this frame, as you would, with the interactive television system working on both the bedside as well as the living room side as well. So a new addition to Viking accommodations, and suites that we've already seeing extremely popular with folks loving to take advantage of this additional space. And then, as we have had introduced into our Viking longships in Europe back in 2012, when the longships were created, designed with 2 Explorer suites, which are located aft on those ships. We took the same message, the same feel of the Explorer suites. We introduced those to our ocean vessels and expedition ships, and there we introduced a series of Explorer suites, ranging in size, and we've brought the very same feel, the very same series of Explorer suites to our Mississippi vessels as well. So regardless of the size, as you can see there, ranging anywhere from 650 to up to just over 1,000 square feet, the design feature would always entail a separate bedroom, a separate lounge, an entertainment area, and wraparound veranda. They just vary obviously in size, in location on the vessel, as well as in price as well. So that really does provide the overview of this very exciting experience that we're all very looking forward to. 2022 is going to be a very exciting year for Viking, as I alluded to earlier. Not only the introduction of Viking ocean ships, but Viking expedition sailing as well. Viking expedition is also going to be bringing a new opportunity for domestic cruising, because in the off season then our expedition vessels are going to be starting to sail the Great Lakes of North America, of the US and Canada as well. That's also going to be in 2022. So many exciting things to look at. Maybe that's an opportunity for us all to meet again in the near future, that I can give a very similar presentation based on the expedition, on the Arctic, the Antarctic, and domestic cruising in the Great Lakes as well. But that's all I have to present for you at this moment in time. I believe we should maybe able to go to some Q&A if they've been typed in. Sherry, I'm going to stop my share for you.
Absolutely. Darren, I can't thank you enough. It's wonderful, wonderful, exciting information for us all to look forward to. I love the 4 itineraries that have been made available. I really like the idea that we can almost extend our vacation by allowing us to utilize the ships as a pre or post hotel option, depending on the itinerary. I think that's a fabulous idea for those who like to go in and don't generally get a chance to experience the embarking or disembarking ports unless they go in and arrange a hotel.
Exactly. We too will have a series of optionals as well, aligned to very much like we have in Europe on our 3 days as well. So something, you know, maybe taking us away from the river region, Memphis, you know, for the food lovers, for the music lovers, there's going to be something specially designed. But absolutely, again, it comes into that maximization of you know, of the places that we're visiting. So yes, indeed.
Right. Yes, absolutely. I'm going to go ahead and take our attendees off of mute now and allow us an opportunity to ask some questions of you. And so give me just a moment to unmute. We do have some wonderful guests joining us today. And if you have some questions, please feel free to ask Darren now.
Bill and Sharon, we're wondering when are the dates that these start?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Yes, our season is going to start in September of 2022.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we were to open 2023 already. I think we get people excited and start booking already. You know, as I say, the demand has been amazing to date for inaugural. So it's a little while to wait, but as I say, books are open and folks are most excited.
Okay.
Thank you for the question, William and Sharon. And did you have any other questions that you'd like to ask?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, thank you very much for joining. We're very glad to have you both with us. As a reminder, and I think what I'll do is let me take over the screen here. I'll place a view of our website up for you all. And so you have an opportunity to write down our phone number. But of course, we are all aboard travel. We partner with Viking, and we're proud to do so. And as you can see, we've got over here our phone number, 1-866-329-8944. Please reach out to your travel advisor if you have any other questions going forward, and they'll be happy to look up the information and the itinerary for you and answer any questions that you may have. Does anybody else have any other questions today?
It's Jennifer. You can call me anytime.
Oh.
Jennifer. We'll do that, Jennifer. This is Bill.
I look forward to it.
And do we have any members of our panel that have any questions for Darren while we have him with us? No? Are we good? Wow, Darren.
Wow.
The hook easy this time.
Got up easy.
You did.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
Well, it's been our pleasure as well. And thank you so much for joining with us today and allowing our guests to be able to experience what you have in store in the near future. Give us all a lot to think about. And I think we're going to definitely see a lot of interest in cruising here amongst the states in the near future. So
I believe so.
Yep.
So.
Absolutely. Well, I want to wish you all a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you again so much for joining. Feel free to reach out to us if you have any other questions. Again, Darren, thank you so much for hosting this event for us today.
Absolute pleasure indeed. And thank you to everybody. Stay safe. And we look forward to cruising very soon.
Look forward as well. On behalf of All Aboard Travel, thank you, everybody. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye.